Salutations, Dufos. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming at you with a special presentation. Moving full speed ahead, having conversations. I call them interviews, but they are conversations with beautiful people that inspire me. I inspire them. They know me, I know them. And some people I'm getting to know as we conversate. But this young man, I know well, and we're going to talk to him and we're going to get to know him even more together. And it's going to be a good conversation, and I'm looking forward to it. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you. Some of you know him as Marcus Cooper. Some of you know him as Prince Paris, but I know him as Brandon. Hi, Brandon.
Hey, darling, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad we're finally getting down to the get down, you know.
Yes, yes, we are. It's time. And I'm so here for it. I'm here for the stories. I'm here for getting to know who you are. And I'm excited to share your story on my platform. And I just want to say thank you to you for even coming on and being willing to share your story on my platform. This helps me a
Thank
lot.
you for giving me the time. Thank you for sharing your platform and being so unselfish. It's very, very, very thoughtful and all the good things that you got going on. You know,
Thank
I've seen you come from the bottom up, you know, going from modeling overseas, doing all that to just going up under the radar to just rebuilding yourself. And when people, as many times people told you no and tried to clown you, like now you're like here, you know, like, you know, so
you. Yeah.
you been at your blue check, you know, they just ain't want to give it to you, you know, we just gonna put it like that, you know.
Yeah, they didn't want to give it to me. They still messing with me. Now, mind you, my blue check is authentic because I reached out to the business bureau through Facebook. But everybody else's blue check says about this
You do a
account.
lot on your own. That's what a lot of people don't know. You do a lot on your own. Like you do a
Yeah,
lot of stuff. Like you don't
yeah.
have
I don't
a
have
bunch of assistants or a bunch of people running around. Like
making that happen. They handed me my blue check after I worked the way that I did. In 1 year, 2018, I had 21 million likes. So they were just like, bitch, you're a brand. It wasn't even you're a celebrity, it was you're a brand.
right.
And I respect that. And now it's this new thing where they're trying to authenticate blue check accounts. So I've seen some people talking about it that, when you go to the account and you click about this, it should be able to see about this account. Well, mine don't show it, but I figured it out. I talked to Facebook, these people have PR, these people have people doing stuff behind the scenes, and you said it. It's me and the people I hire. So yeah. So now back to you.
Right where you need to be. So that's all.
Yes, yes, I am. I am absolutely right where I need to be. So now back to you. Tell us where you're from, where you were born, and where you're from.
I'm from Trenton, New Jersey. I was born in Trenton, New Jersey. My dad is from Clarendon, Jamaica.
Yes.
My mom is from Fort Valley, Georgia.
Yeah.
I grew up in Jersey from like 1990 to like 97.
Yeah.
Then the rest of my school years is in Florida, Hollywood, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, you know, Miami area.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? The love of my life came out of Hollywood, Florida. I met him in college. Yeah, he was from Hollywood, Florida. Love of my life. So I always had a soft spot for Florida boys. And that's funny because I didn't know you were a Florida boy. I didn't know all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I went to Addicts Middle School. I went to Olson Middle School, Bethune Elementary, Hollandale High School.
Oh, wow. So fast forward, how did you wind up in Philadelphia where I met you?
I was I moved out of house at a pretty early age. I went to live with my uncle in Buffalo, New York,
Mm.
and that didn't really work out too much. So I ended up coming back down to Florida. So I met you around 2008.
8.
I
Mm.
got there 2008. And I met you like a couple of weeks later. So you were like one of my second or third or fourth friends.
I'm honored.
So yeah, I was 18. I was young, you know what I'm saying? I ain't know nothing about the big city, but I had already had um a good 2 year of experience of just being on my own from when I was like 15. So,
Wow.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I was out at 15 and it wasn't like thrown on the street, but my mom sent me to live with my uncle. I guess the whatever she called herself doing, exploring, whatever. And that ain't really work out too much. Came back, stayed with her for a couple of months, and then I went on, came up to Philadelphia, which is my other uncle, which is my mom's older brother.
Okay.
So
It's so
that's where.
funny because we met, I'm gonna tell him all. We met on Jack, we met, not Jack, Jack wasn't around. We met on Adam for Adam. and, and that was that. And you know what's so funny? That was a good experience with you.
What
For those of you that don't understand what we are subliminally talking about, Brandon and I
what
know
was
each other.
it?
Yeah, we know each other very well, very well. And I don't regret it. And I don't think he does either. So you wind up in Philadelphia and you're new to the big city. You're newly 18. I wish I had known these things, but see, this is the problem when you meet hot boys up the internet and y'all don't go talking before. So yeah, like so you were in so you were living with your uncle.
Mhm.
I want to segue real quick and tell me, as you're moving around, as you're coming into adulthood at 18, what were your dreams? What did you want to do?
I just wanted to perform, whether that was modeling, whether that was singing, but there always was a pattern like coming up when I wanted to do something that I wanted to do, it always some type of blockage. It was always some type of, like you can't do this. It was always some type of no from the universe, or either in which I felt as though it was from my family.
Mm,
Um, so a part of me really does kind of feel like a lot of I had a lot of time stolen from me,
mhm.
but that's just one thing, you know. That's
You know
just
what's so crazy, Brandon? You and I had that in common. I'm 39. I felt like I had a lot of time stolen from me because I had to deal with mental illness. And it was very, I hear a lag. Is that us? I hear a delay. Do you hear it?
mm-mm.
I do. Like when I speak, it's like an echo. I don't know if it's the volume.
Hello.
You're
Do I?
fine. You're fine. But when I speak, I can hear myself like as a delayed reaction.
I can kind of hear what you're saying a little bit.
Okay. See if you can turn the volume down. Maybe the volume will help you.
Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay.
Okay.
See, I can hear, but it's not as prevalent now. But like I was saying, we all have dreams, and I felt the same way. I felt like I was being jostled. First of all, I was put out of my house for being gay at 19. So it was very hard. I was moving around. And when you met me, I had just got my first place. It was my first place that I had ever been able to have mine. I had been couch surfing for a number of years. And my job, I actually was a phone sex agent. So I was actually doing phone sex at the time that I met you. I don't think we talked about that.
I remember those days.
All right. Okay. So yeah, I was actually doing phone sex. So it was my first place. And I was coming into a lot of my identity, realizing what I kind of put on hold what my dream was because it seemed like you said, the universe was telling me no. And then it was just so much mentally to deal with mental illness. And I wasn't trying to deal with it at that time. I was trying to mask it. So whenever you try to mask something and you don't deal with it, problems. It's a recipe for disaster.
Mhm.
So, even my place that we saw with that you met me in, even with my Persian cats that you met me, I had them fluffy ass cats. I lost all of that. I lost all of that. I had to go into the hospital and start all over again. And that's how I came here 15 years ago. My grandmother, she took me back in, and therapy ensued, and I kind of disappeared from the scene again to focus on my career. But before I did, I was walking down the street, South Street, because I lived on Cater, which was one street over. I met a man. And his name, we can say it because there's a lot of these doctors in the world. Only the people that know him will know him. But I met a man and his name was Dr. Green. He could be Dr. Blue, he could be Dr. White, he could be Dr. Fuchsia, it don't matter. So we ain't gonna get in trouble. But Dr. Green stopped me while I was walking down the street one day. I had on these skinny jeans, these boots that everybody wanted, by Tommy Hilfiger, and like a bomber jacket. And he looked at me, and he's a very beautiful man. So he said to me, he stopped me, he said, okay, he said, excuse me, are you a model? And the funny thing was, I said to him, not anymore. I'd given up. And he said, you should be modeling. And he gave me his business card and he said, call me. So I went on my way to work and did my phone sex, and then came home, and I met you. But before I met you, I had met him. And there was a little time in between because he got me into the gym. He hooked me up with people. And my body was really nice. So even though I was going through transition and struggle at that time, which you could clearly see, you said it, I knew you were going through something, but yeah, I was going through, but my body looked amazing. So I'll listen to you. Yeah, you remember. You remember. I remember. So yeah, so I met him, and his agenda for me was, you need to go to New York. He kept saying that. You need to go to New York. Why are you not in New York? Why are you not pursuing fashion? Little did he know, I had already been to New York for years. I'd gone to all the modeling agencies. They told me I was too skinny for New York, which was why I needed to go to Paris. And I had gone to Paris, and Paris was doing well. And then me and my mental illness and stress, the bottom falls out, and I wind up back in Philly. And then I meet you. You met Dr. Green, and your experience with Dr. Green was a lot different than mine. Can you please tell us about your meeting of Dr. Green and what happened?
Well, I met Dr. Green
through me.
You. And it was, you're too skinny, you got to get more muscular. And I started going to the gym, and I didn't reject it because, like you said, it was free. Yeah. So, when things like that, like I didn't mind working out, you know what I'm saying? Because I already had a nice body. So you did. You did. Mind, you know what I'm saying? The free workouts, just going to because I just got here still. So, I wasn't going to school. So it was good for me to just be able to do something besides just being able to pay my own little rent and just, because I'm like able to take care of myself now a little bit and just stay in the house, you know what I'm saying? So it was something good for me, and I felt like I had an opportunity, to pursue what I wanted to pursue. Right. But upon that, upon me going to the gym, there never was any type of, oh, you're improving. Whenever I would see him, and whenever I did ask him something, it was always some type of excuse. So I was like, okay, well, maybe he's just busy. It's okay. I'm just going to keep doing what I do, And then when he did get back to me, it was during the time to where he was supposed to introduce me to someone that was a photographer, and that photographer ended up being an adult entertainer who had his own name and had his own, company. And we all know that person. We both know that person. Yes. Yeah, I'm not going to say no name or whatever, but yeah, cool person or whatever, but you're lagging. No, it was you. I don't know what happened, but you're back now, so keep going, because through it, it's so we know this person or whatever. Very cool guy, but for me, it was still my decision to do it. But I kind of felt like years later, like, why did you just throw me to the sharks like that? You know what I'm saying? That's what really. So it was like once I got into it, I told myself it was just gonna be, oh, just one little thing, a little Kim Kardashian, just one little thing. Anybody gonna know it? It's just, I would just, I just need to get in the back door. This is not what I was looking for, but maybe, yeah.
So let me paraphrase this. You're newly 18. You're in a big city. You're a Southern boy. The pace of the South is a little slower. Up here in the North, it's fast talkers. You can get yourself real hemmed up real quick. So instead of him introducing you to a photographer, he introduced you to someone that helped usher you into porn.
Basically, yeah. So it was still my choice to do what I did at the end, at the time, because I felt like I needed the money, but I felt, so it was still my choice. But I kind of felt like, from coming up and wanting to do what I want to do and just, being a good kid and going to church and doing all that good stuff, it was just like every time I wanted to do what I wanted to do, it was, oh, I'm gay, or or I'm too this, or I'm too that, or you need to be this, you need to play football, you need to do this. So for me, it was, when I say time was stolen, is not that part of your life where you want to do one thing and your parents want you to do one another, but it's when it continues.
Yeah.
It's when you're not a bad child, but you're sent away for whatever reason to some uncle who you don't even know like that. You don't even know that your mom doesn't have the greatest relationship with him either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're staying with this person, and this person is like not doing what he's supposed to do financially. And then you end up leaving at the age of 15 and being on your own in Buffalo, New York, and you happen to fend for yourself. Thank God I found someone that was a little bit older than me that I was able to be with, Lord rest his soul. You know what I'm saying? So I was okay, but then after me being young, I didn't really know how to handle the relationship like that. So I did kind of have a downfall with that, but that caused me to end up going back home because I tried to commit suicide.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I ended up going back home. I was okay, you know what I'm saying? The guy I was with, he called my mom, he sent me back home or whatever the case may be. But it just was, even when I went up to Buffalo, New York, like I wanted to go to American Idol as well.
Mm-hmm.
They waited until it was time for me to go. And this is my uncle, you get my social security check, you get my income and all that. It's time for me to go. And then the day before it's time for me to go, you don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's just stuff like that. So after all that, when I went back home and when I came up to Buffalo, New York, that was maybe like months and months later. I ended up moving to Philly 2000 and New Year's Eve 2008 from Florida, because from Buffalo, New York, I ended up going back home. And then my mom sent me to my other uncle, which is, his name is Tony West, and he's gay also. He sing, dance, act, all that. He's very talented. So from there in Philadelphia, that is where I was, and that is who looked out for me. And you kind of, if you ain't, he tried to put me in school, but of course, I got there to West Philly, and I don't know if you know the school where they did the Fresh Prince did the basketball scene.
Mm-mm.
Like getting the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where he's like
I know Will is from. I know Mr. Smith.
Yes, I went to that school.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was in jail because you had to take everything off of you.
Damn.
And mind you, I'm going from being just in the GED class in Buffalo, New York, because I wasn't even going to school in Buffalo, New York. They couldn't even get me in school. So to just being everything off, so I didn't really, but my uncle was like, if you're going to be out here in these streets, then you need to know what you're doing and you need to be careful out here. So he looked out for me, but from Dr. Green, it just was like, it was still my decision, but it just was kind of like, why am I being thrown to the wolves so much? And once I got in the door, what I thought was just going to be a one-time thing ended up being something that I got stuck into for the past 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
I want to put a pin in that real quick. I said something when you said, "Do you know the school where Will Smith did the basketball scene?" I was coming out. I heard it come out. I know Mr. Smith. I do not know Mr. Smith. I just wanted to add clarity that I know he was from West Philadelphia, but I do not know him personally. So that's what I just want to say. Now, oh God, so 18 and you end up doing adult film entertainment for 10 years, 28, now you're 28, right?
And I really was just like, oh, okay, well, I met this one person. I'm gonna do this, and then from there, I could just get in the back. I'm in the door, but I got in it, and it just was something that I got stuck into, and it was just like, it wasn't enjoyable. It was, you're pushing other people company, and you're trying to find a way to brand yourself, but you're not like everybody. Some of these guys really enjoy this. Some of these guys really wake up, hey, I got this and that, what I'm saying? And I don't knock them. That wasn't my passion. It was just a money thing for me. So
Yeah.
me trying to find myself in somewhere where I did not belong at first, it just was like, it was hard, what I'm saying? And it's just
Mhm.
like, well, you already did this, and that film. No one's gonna want to sign a backup singer or give you a contract, and you're this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one's gonna. And then when it comes to modeling, they tell you sometimes you're too short or you're too dark. 5'9". I'm a walker. I'm not just a standstill model, but that is what you have to settle for. So it just was like, at some point, it's like, it was still my decision to sign my name on the dotted line. But at the end of the day, it's like being thrown to the wolves by the universe so much. At some point, you have to know how to capture yourself and say, this is not how my life is gonna go. So right now, it's everything is standstill for me.
May I ask you a personal question?
Mhm.
What do you didn't answer me. I can't ask the question. You didn't answer me.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm like, don't get me in trouble. Um, what are you collecting SSI for? Or SSD?
I was collecting it for ADD, attention deficits, and
Mhm.
bipolar depression.
Bipolar depression. You know I'm
Mhm.
bipolar. I have bipolar type 1. I also have PTSD and acute anxiety. There's a reason why I want you to know this. Is because I should have been doing the same thing you were. I should have been collecting a check and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. What I'm trying to show you is that you and I are the same. We're the same. There's nothing different between us. You have dreams. And I was running around and I found my way into good opportunities, but I still was running around very much bipolar, very much manic as hell, very much carefree, didn't know what I was always doing all the time. Should have been collecting a check. The only reason why I didn't collect my check is because they told me there's a job you can do. So they didn't want to give it to me because you're young, you came out of college. Why'd you come out of college? I couldn't really speak and tell them why. I was so traumatized. And they said to me, well, we shouldn't give it to him. He's so young. There's one job he can do, and that's fold laundry in a laundromat.
Mm.
That's what they said at my hearing for my disability check. And they never awarded me my disability. So I just want you to know that you and we're in the same boat, sweetheart. And I want you to understand something. Whether or not I got that check or not, my family, the world looks at me just like they look at you. It's nothing different. Nothing at all. We are one and the same. They want to look at us as though we are damaged. And when you are quote unquote who you are, when you are quote unquote who you are, there's always some reason to discourage you. Well, you need to focus on this. You need to focus on that. Coming to live with my grandmother was my saving grace. I don't think I would have survived. I was terribly suicidal. I remember that I was supposed to come see my aunt who lived in this house. My grandmother lived in the house around the corner. And when I got here, it was raining and my aunt wasn't here. So I went and knocked on my grandmother's door. And when I knocked on her door, I'll never forget. She opened the door and she looked at me and she said, "Boy, get in here. Boy, get in here." And literally, my grandmother had a full house because my grandmother took care of 4 generations of her family. Don't ask me why. It's not even that they couldn't fend for themselves. It's a lot of mental illness in my family. It's hereditary. So my grandmother ended up footing the bill for a lot of people. And then she footed the bill for a lot of people that wanted to do what they wanted to do. So they wanted to use her money the way they wanted to use it and do whatever the fuck they wanted to do, instead of listen to her and take her instruction and learn from her. But see, there was a difference between me. She put me in the suburbs. So from 10 years old until the time I was 17 going into college, I was around kids that they revered their parents. So when it came to grandparents, grandparents were the holy grail. So I looked at my grandmother like she was everything. And I was able to stay with her, and I'll never forget it. She came and she had a full house. I was sleeping on the couch again. But guess what? She slept on the couch with me. She slept on the couch. She had one of them big couches that went around like almost a square. And she slept on one end of the couch and I slept on the other. And she took me to welfare, and welfare gave me medical and food stamp assistance. And they paid for my therapy. They paid for my medicine. They paid for all of that. And my family, I remember my uncle lived in the house with her and my nephews. He threw a fit because he didn't want me there. He was the reason I had gotten put out in the beginning. And I didn't understand why at that time. And now I choose not to understand, because you don't understand crazy and jealousy. Don't wrap your head around that. I know what it was with him. It was that way all of my life. Very envious, very jealous. So he ended up cursing my grandmother out because he just snapped on her. Why is he here? Kind of thing. And my grandmother said, "Oh, for real?" She moved out because my aunt moved out of this house, and my grandmother moved in here and brought me in here. And I want to tell you something about, you know this, bipolar 1, you get more energy than you do depression. My grandmother had a whole lot of stuff. She still does. This house is full of stuff. I'm just like, and I told her, listen, when we move out of the country, we can't take all this stuff. But yeah, she collects things because things make her feel better, because the people she loves treat her very bad. So she collects things and it's just brimming. And I'm just like, oh my God, we got to get rid of some of this stuff. So I walked every single piece of furniture, everything she owned. I walked it from around the corner into this house. I moved her. And we've been here ever since. And she put me in therapy, and my medicine was paid for. And that is how I sit here today. I want you to know something too. Dr. Green introduced me to porn stars. Yeah, he did. I'm friends with them to this day. And the fact of the matter is, I'm a little upset because I was older. I was older. I had had my lumps and my bumps. I knew what not to do. I knew, what to try and not try. So when he introduced me to the porn stars, what I ended up doing was sleeping with them. Slept with them. We became friends, and they're still my friends to this day. But when I think about an impressionable 18-year-old, I understand why you say I feel like the universe said no. And I want you to, what you say, baby?
He wasn't the only one. You remember those pictures I gave you?
Yes, that I still have.
The person, Lord rest his soul, the person, he, yeah, he had supposed to had, been helping out too. But, what I realized it was just.
More people were interested. They were interested in you sexually.
Mm-hmm.
They were
So
interested in
then it
sexual.
became like, am I just meant to be some figure
Object.
model or just a
Mhm.
picture or object or you know, but I mean,
That's hard to deal with. The reason why I'm staying on it is that's where the healing needs to start, because that's hard to deal with at 18. And I'm gonna just say what I believe. 18, you're not grown. You're not grown. Um, my friends that I grew up with, they weren't grown until we were 30. So anything we did in our teens and 20s, child, nobody took us seriously. I made my mistakes. And that was the thing. I used to be so upset. Oh, I missed my time. No, you didn't. You made all of your mistakes early. You got them all out of the way. So I must admit, I didn't know that he was going to do that with you. I saw someone whom knew a lot of young Black men, because he knew a lot of young Black men.
I begged him. I begged him just for a simple photo shoot. I begged that man. I begged that man. So when I saw that dotted little line, I was like, oh, I'm in the door. You know, it's a company. You know, they may know somebody that may know somebody. And then it was nope. It was survivor, survivor, survivor. Because once I got in that door, that little social security check that I was getting, first of all, I didn't even know when I left the house at 15, when I first moved to Buffalo, New York, I knew nothing of a check. I found out about that check after when I started, my mom told me about it, and he was supposed to be buying me shoes and stuff like that, and he wasn't. He was giving me his old shoes and using my money to open up stuff for his little gift shop that he had. Fast forward. So fast forward into Philadelphia. Of course, I'm living with my uncle. He makes sure my half of the bills is paid. He makes sure I got food and everything. I bus fare, I'm able to go around. But as far as me being out on my own, I'm still grown. You know what I'm saying? I'm not working. You know what I'm saying? I still need money. I still got to fend for myself. So I was like, okay, yeah, I need the money. Once I got in the door, that's what it became. Yeah, I need the money. Yeah, I need the money. Survivor, survivor, survivor. I didn't do it because it was just, oh yeah, I want everybody to see me. You know what I'm saying? It was, I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna get out, Lord. You know, I feel I still got an opportunity to do this and that, and you just tell yourself that over and over again. And some of these people, they've made good way and branded themselves. Like I'm very proud for the ones who really went out there and did their thing and did their research, and they're at the top of the game and they're still there. But for me, it wasn't. It was survival thing for me, and that's what I got stuck into for the past 10 years. So now it's just
You have to
pulling
be,
yourself back.
you have to be very careful, because that's what my grandmother shielded me from. Can you imagine how many people wouldn't wanted to take advantage of me because I was in a compromised position, being bipolar, PTSD, and having acute anxiety disorder? She knew that. And I was, hold on, this meeting will end in 10 minutes. Upgrade now. Hold on. Something happened, because I think there was more than one person trying to come in. But I want you to understand that your life is not over. Your life is far from over. One thing that you and I have in common, and you keep saying it, we're survivors. We're survivors. If anything happens, if my grandmother goes home to heaven, I'm going to be all right, because I'm a survivor. And so are you. And I really want you to know that we have never been out of communication with each other. We've always stayed in communication. And that is for a reason. And I want you to know I adore you. I've always adored you since the day I met you. And I saw something in you, which was why I was like, oh, okay, well, if Dr. Green is helping me, he can help this person. But you said it. You needed somebody there to be a role model, to be like, no, don't do that. Don't do this. And at that time, I was burnt out my damn self. I was burnt out my damn self. It's amazing how things happen. It's amazing. But your story is not over. It's not over by a long shot. And my thing is, we're going to continue to stay in contact. Because if I can help in any way, I will. I will. I'm running, this is what we call, I'm running the gauntlet right now. I'm the glass ceiling is in front of me and I'm getting ready to shatter that bitch. And I'm focused. I'm running the gauntlet. But once I run the gauntlet and I get over to the other side, a lot's going to open up for me and I'll be able to do a lot more. And I know many people that have the same background of adult entertainment and they are doing their thing. But the thing is, they have to stay away from the people that only want to use them for that. And once people find out, oh, he's an adult star, then all of a sudden, that's what they want. They want to use you for. They want you to do that, and it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to get ahead. You got to really.
Sometimes I'm learning how to stay out my own way.
Yeah.
Because regardless of what happened, when I chose to sign that dotted line, that still was me. I did have the go to school. Maybe if I would have stuck into the school instead of feeling like, oh, I gotta take, because when I went to that school, they made me take, you got to take everything off. So I'm feeling like I'm walking through an airport. You got to take off your shoes, all this stuff. And I was just like, nah, but maybe had I kept going, maybe I would have met the people that I needed to meet or to be around. So, it's all about just learning how to stay out your own way. So even though I had people that did kind of this and that, I was kind of in my own way also. But, I would just say to anybody that's, just think before you do, don't always listen to that first mind and just do it because, you're going to need the money, because for some people, what could seem so fun for other people could really be a sad story. And for me, it's a really, really sad story for me, and
I understand.
regardless of what I chose to do, but, it's never too late, so that's just where I'm at.
Listen, I don't know what's going on with them today. Give me 3 words that inspire you very quickly because they get ready to put me off.
Love, courage, and hope.
And hope.
Boom,
I like
baby. It'll be another interview.
Yeah, no, because I'm getting ready to find out what the hell is going on here. I'm getting ready to find out. Yeah, trust me.
I appreciate it. You see how the devil kept trying to stop us to do this connection. That is how life has been for me. So, I'm glad. You may have to chop it up. However, I'm pretty sure you're going to make it work. You're the queen of shade. It'll be others. You are beautiful. I love you so much. Thank you for everything. We got something done. The next interview will be much better. But listen, we got it done. The devil tried to stop the connection from the phone, from here to New York. Listen, we got it done. We got it. Thank you so much. I love you so much.
Listen, I love you. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the vocal stylings of Marcus Cooper, Prince Paris, and my Brandon. Don't go anywhere. Hold on. Say goodbye.
Peace out, people.
But wait, real quickly, tell them where they can find you online. Social media. I know. So I'll do it then. If you can't remember,
I can remember, but it's like long, so I'm gonna just let you tag them.
Yeah, I'm gonna just tag it. All right, don't go nowhere. You already said goodbye. Hold on.